everybody, this is Great Math number 25, and it's me, JP, and we're just going to make sure if you really know how to do most of the square root problems that we're going to do today. So let's get started. Square root of x times the square root of y, that equals to the square root of xy. Let's use an example. The square root of 3 times the square root of 9 equals to the square root of 3 times 9, which equals to the square root of 27. There we go. Understand it. Now let's move on. The square root of x plus the square root of y, does it equal to the square root of x plus y? You think so? You don't think so? Let's check it out if it's right or wrong. Let's give an example. 4 plus square root of 9. Do numbers that we know, so that's the square root. 2 plus 3, that equals to 5. Equal to 4 plus 9. Question that equals to 13. What's the square root of 13? Does not equal the square root of 5. Does not equal 5, because square root of 25 does equal 5. And the square root of actually 4 is 6 square. The 4 actually is the square root of 16, so this would have to be like 3 point something. So this is just definitely does not equal to 5. We got that down, so it does not equal to. Okay? Move on. Square root of 3 by the power of 6. We know how to deal with that. We just do 3 by the power of 3. Parentheses by the 2, and we know our rule, 3 times 2, that equals 6. And you know what happens, take out the square root, take out the square, that equals to 3 by the power of 3, which equals to 27, because 3 by the power of 2 is 9, 9 times 3, that equals to 27. There we go. Now let's do something a little bit more challenging. 1 over the square root of 3. Well, we can't just times square root of 3 on both sides because it's not an equation. So the only thing we can do is times 1, which is the same thing as 1 over the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 over the square root of 3. Remember, 1 can be anything as long as the numerator and denominator are the same thing. After that, it's the square root of 3 over the square root of 3 squared, and you know what happens. Square root takes out, and so it's the square. And that equals the square root of 3 over 3. That is our answer. Let's try something our hardest one yet. 1 over square root of a minus square root of b. Okay, that's hard. So let's try numbers that let's try, I don't want to do this variable for this, so let's do something else. How about 1 over the square root of 5 minus the square root of 6? Well, this one we can't just do the square root of 5 minus square root of 6 because that wouldn't take out the, that would not take out our square root. So the only thing we can do here, we're going to have to do a positive, and you'll see why later. I'll explain why later. So 1 over the square root of 5 minus the square root of 6. Times the square root of 5 plus the square root of 6. That's why I said change. Just make it the opposite is what I should have said. Kind of like it. Equals the square root of 5 plus the square root of 6. Over, okay, when we do that, that's basically the same thing as in parentheses. It's actually the same thing in parentheses. Which then, after that, we can do the distributive property. Square root of 5 times the square root of 5 plus the square root of 6 plus square root of 6. Oh.
There is a minus square root.
Yeah.
Or plus minus square root of 6.
Minus.
Okay, go.
5. Square root of 5 plus the square root of 6. Then when we do that,
parentheses.
Yeah. When we do that, square root of 5 times square root of 5, that's just 5, plus the square root of 30 because of that, minus the square root of 30 plus 6. because we multiply. Oh, yeah, when we multiply. Oh wait, no, isn't it? Oh, it's a minus here.
Why it's a minus?
Because it's the square root times the square root. It's like 6 times 6, that equals 36, minus 6 times 6, that equals to minus 36.
So minus square root of 6 times square root of 6.
Yeah, so it's kind of square minus 6, kind of the same concept. And that cancels because square root of 6 minus the square root of square root of 30 minus the square root of 30, that's 0, so that doesn't matter. So 5 minus 6, that equals 2 minus 1. Okay. So that means our answer for this is minus 1, which is the same thing as square root of 5 plus the square root of 6, all in parentheses, times minus 1, just the same thing, but it's negative. And that is our answer. Okay, so, but let me explain. If we used the same thing, I'll show you how it does not change. Times the square root of 5 minus the square root of 6. If that does not change, we do the square root of 5 times the square root of 5 minus 6, square root of 6, minus the square root of 6 times the square root of 5 minus the square root of 6. We do that, 5 times 5 is 5, 5 times 6 is negative 30, because that changes that, minus square root of 30, square root of 30, so that times that, that's square minus 6.
No.
Oh.
Minus square root of 6 minus square root of
Oh yeah, that equals just plus 6. Because the double negative equals a positive. Thank you for that catching. So when we do that, that changes the whole process. That be minus square root of 30 plus, in parentheses, minus square root of 30. That will not change that will not change the variable. So that will not change these. That makes it, then when we do the operation, that will not take out the square root. But what we're trying to do is take out the square root, but it doesn't do that. Because if we did it that way, it won't do that. So that's why we have to use the opposite operation. If it's an addition, you have to times by square root of 5 minus square root of 6. You guys understand? And I have one more to show you. And this is just a concept. Just to get your concept. Square root. Okay, in parentheses, square root of A plus the square root of B times the square root of A minus the square root of B. When we do that, we distribute it. Square root of A times square root of A minus the square root of B. Actually, let's do an addition. Minus square root of B times the square root of A plus the square root of B. We do that, A times A is A plus B, that's the square root of AB, minus the square root of AB or BA, doesn't matter, it's the same thing, plus, no, actually minus because of the double negative. I mean, only a negative times a positive B. These two cancel out. That's just A minus B. Remember, we see a minus sign again. So when we just do, so even if we just do A plus B times A minus B, we'll get A squared minus B squared because you're actually multiplying it together when you do the variable thing. Just imagine that the square root wasn't there. you multiply that, it will be a squared. So no matter how many times when you do it like this, there will be a minus b. That's how it will be. And that seems like that's it for our video on Great Math number 25. And if you did like this video, please do subscribe and please give us a big thumbs up for Great Math, Great Math and all the other videos that we do. And I'm JP and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.